Class Action Park. This is an HBO documentary about probably the most notorious water park slash amusement park of all time. Action Park in New Jersey, a place where people just got injured and rides were not built properly and it was extremely dangerous and people died, and yet, as you see in the documentary, there's a lot of people, former employees and former attendees of the park, who still kind of have this very nostalgic, positive viewpoint of what was a really remarkably dangerous place. I knew about Action Park. There's a great series on YouTube called Defunct Land. I believe Kevin Perjurer is the name of the guy who created it, where he talks about former amusement park rides or former amusement parks or former water parks, and he did a video on Action Park that I thought was really fascinating. So I wanted to watch this documentary because for some reason I find the process of what goes into creating an amusement park or a water park fascinating. Like, I don't really go to water parks or amusement parks very often, but I'm fascinated by the process, so I wanted to watch this. This is a really good documentary, and this will be a shorter review than most because, to me, what makes a good documentary, it's not nearly as complex as what makes a good narrative film. Like, to me, when you're talking about a film like Mulan that I just talked about, or any of the movies I've reviewed on here so far, there's a lot that goes into making them good. You need to have a good director and good cinematographer and good performances and a good script. To me, with a good documentary, really all you need is just an interesting story, and that can keep me engaged. And this has a very interesting story. I mean, this, at points, it's not as crazy, but in the first hour, it's about 90 minutes. The first hour, there's a lot of moments where it was like Tiger King, where it's like, wow, I can't believe any of this stuff actually happened. This is insane. This was a death park, essentially. People would go there knowing they probably weren't going to come out of there unscathed, and yet people just went there. Apparently that's what they did in the 80s. I guess that's kind of what people do today. Jesus, we've had people eating Tide Pods over the last couple of years, so I guess going to an amusement park knowing you might drown or bang your head on a rock and kill yourself probably isn't much of a surprise. It moves at a great pace. You have some celebrity appearances. Chris Gethard, who I think is a really great comedian and a great mental health advocate as well, is featured prominently in this. I thought his testimonials were hilarious. You have former employees, former attendees talking about what that experience was like. But the core of this story is about the creator and kind of the complicated legacy that he has. And that's actually, to me, where this film took it up a notch, because the first hour of this 90-minute documentary, I was like, you know what, this is good, I like this, I'm laughing hard, but I can't shake the feeling that they're kind of glorifying what was a really dark and kind of sinister place. Like, this was an owner, this was a creator who created a park where he did not care if people died. And then, in the last 30 minutes, the documentary has this drastic tonal shift where all of a sudden, it dives deep into the effects of losing a person. It talks about the people that died at this park, and it interviews the family of the first person who lost their life at Action Park, and it moved me and hurt me in a way that nothing else I've seen on film this year did. It bothered me. Like, this documentary, especially the last 30 minutes, really got under my skin, but I mean that in the best way possible. I think that's what they were going for. Just because you have a place where some people say, oh, I scraped my knee there, or oh, I got a concussion there, does not mean that it was all sunshine and rainbows. Really ugly things happened at Action Park, and I think this documentary, in the last 30 minutes especially, did a wonderful job of tapping into the ugliness of what happens when you run a park or even just run a business like this. Horrible things happen to good people. Like I said, this is going to be a short review. It's a very small film. It's on HBO Max. If you have it, I recommend watching it. That's why I chose to do a review for this, because I want people to seek it out, because I think it's fascinating. I think it's angering at points, but it's also insightful. It's everything that a good documentary should be. It's not some, breakthrough. It's not Fahrenheit 9/11. It's not even The Last Dance, which was on ESPN earlier this year, but it is really well done and even powerful at points. There's nothing about it that made me go, oh my god, this is the best movie of the year, I can't wait to watch it again, but I think I probably would watch it again. It's a fascinating story. I give Class Action Park an 8 out of 10. I think it's a really good movie. So yeah, that'll do it for a short review. You can follow me on Twitter at Castellani2014. Subscribe to this channel. Pound that like button. Pound that subscribe button. Have you seen this movie? What do you think about it? Comment below. Follow me on Twitter. Do all that good stuff. Thank you very much for tuning in. I will see you later. Peace and happiness.